Welcome back to the channel, you guys, and happy Tuesday. My name is Clara Mutoni, your host for today's show on United Buzz. And now we have a lot of news to talk to you guys about, but obviously the summer transfer window is firmly underway, and Manchester United is on the hunt to get some players, but also the midfield is their priority, yeah. And we are going to dive into the World Cup because Matheus Cunha is making headlines, yeah, playing for Brazil, but also we have another update on this is a new element entering into the transfer. We have a teenager called Ayub Boadi. Yeah. Now he has emerged also as a target, but also Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, also including Manchester City. They're all interested. But as I just told you, Michael Carrick has a lot of not even a lot of days, but he has a lot of pressure on his back to yet sign any player so far, as he got into the manager role. And everything in between we're going to talk about. Juan Mata, you all remember Juan Mata Garcia. This guy, he made some numbers in Manchester United. So we're going to dive into that. And before I get into today's show, let me tell you and remind you that you need to subscribe to be part of the family. It helps. It's the only way, the free way to support the channel. And also, it helps you to connect with us so that every single time we upload, you do not miss an episode. Let's get into it. But before we get into the transfers, let's first talk about the World Cup drama. Yeah. Let's start slightly. The World Cup drama is really like its emotions are high. New players participating for the first time. They're trying to make a name for themselves, and also World Cup lovers or football lovers are comparing. Let's take an example, like Brazil. Let's see, like 6 years ago, or the last World Cup. The squad then and the squad now, it's a bit different. Okay, so people are very stuck into the past, and now it's bringing drama on court. What am I talking about? Yesterday, no, I mean, we all know Matheus Cunha is making headlines. He's scoring. He's having a good time of his life. But the other time when Brazil made a dramatic comeback, 2-1 over Japan in the 2026 FIFA World Cup round of 32, Matheus Cunha walked over to Japan's players, okay, and he held up his 5 fingers, yeah, and people saw it as a disrespect to Japan, all right, and this was after the game, by the way, but he was responding to an incident that happened before the game, so people had very mixed reactions on internet. I saw, like, I was scrolling through Twitter last time. Fabrizio Romano had already posted Cunha's response, and people were like going on him. They were going in on him, on Cunha. They were like, "You, by the time the last time Brazil won the World Cup, you weren't even born. You didn't even participate in those 5 World Cups. Like, what are you even talking about?" Like they were bashing him. Okay, so what happened? He held 5 fingers to Japan players, specifically to one player, and then it was his response to comments made before the match by Japanese forward Kento Shiogai. This player said the Brazil is not the same. They're not the same team that they used to be. And then Cunha went into the game. He did what he did. Brazil actually did a dramatic comeback, as I said a few seconds ago. And then now he felt like he had something to get off his chest. After the game, Cunha explained that his gesture wasn't meant to disrespect any Japanese players. He praised Japan like as one of the best and fastest improving national teams in the world, but said he felt like Kento's comments crossed the line by questioning Brazil's football legacy. All right. And then Cunha said, I'm quoting him. He said, "I have nothing against Japan. They're a great team, but he says some things about Brazil that we can't accept. It's about respect for us and for our shirt." This incident, sparked debate online. Some fans believe Cunha was justified because this player criticized Brazil before the match, while others felt that the celebration was unnecessary after the final whistle. Now I'm going to leave it up to you. If you're playing for a country, leave alone a club, a country, this is a huge thing. You're wearing a national flag, you're representing the whole country, and then someone makes a comment to you because they want to rile you up, they want to we call these mind games, okay? But then you actually score against them. I feel like it's valid, it's justified. You just don't have to be disrespectful about it. Don't disrespect their culture, but just exchanging a few words, I mean, doesn't hurt nobody. But then I don't want to be biased because it's Cunha and he's from United. Let me leave it up to you guys. It's an open dialogue. Let me know what you think. Was he justified or he went too far? All right. Let's leave alone the World Cup drama and get to something more touchy, a touchy subject. First of all, I feel like this is a touchy subject on the guy Manuel Ogalte, who sustained an injury. You remember he was supposed to be offloaded from Manchester United squad this season, this coming season. Yeah. But now they cannot sell him. And for me, it's unfortunate that he got injured, but I think it's again fortunate because he's now not leaving United. Because I don't think him leaving United was one of his best. Like he woke up and is like, you know what? Let me just leave United. No one wants to leave United if they are not going to go to a better club, if that makes sense. So a number, a number of Manchester United players have railed around Manuel Ogalte on social media following the injury he suffered at the FIFA World Cup with Uruguay, and players like Luke Shaw, Mason Mount, Brian Bemo, obviously captain Bruno Fernandez, who said we're here for whatever, brother. And why am I stressing about this? The support he's getting. Obviously, he got injured, but also it shows you that Michael Carrick brought back the brotherhood. Yeah, he brought back the brotherhood because I remember there was a time when the local, like you could see tension on your screen. I wasn't at Carrington training with these guys, but you could see they didn't have any love for one another. They did not, they weren't smiling. But now you see, even when someone gets a call up for a national team, you see the support he gets from his teammates. So I feel like, yes, it's not the only factor that is going to contribute to United's success, but it's one of the most important one. Um, when you are working in an environment that is toxic, you don't even provide, like, you know, you can't do anything. You cannot put your mind to anything and actually like go through with it. So I feel like him and the injury, he's now they're pushing now back because you cannot sell an injured player. It wouldn't be fair, and also it's in their contract. So he's going to stay in Manchester United, and this forces United to now pivot back to trying to get his replacement. Okay, either way they were going to do it. Either way they're going to get players to come in, obviously focusing so much on the midfield department. But now the fact that he's staying, they're not going to sell him. Do you understand the contrast? If they sold him, they would have gotten money to buy another person. But now they're not going to sell him. He's going to stay at United, but he's not going to participate. So now it's a bit of like tough for Carrick because he hasn't really. He's going to spend 2 months now. It's going to be 2 months since he was appointed. But also, we are on 30th for Christ's sake. And I was going to talk about this like later on in the show, but why not now? We are on the 30th of June. What does that mean? It means most of the players' contracts are coming to their end. Manchester or any other clubs, this is when they release like their next year or next season's budget. Like this is a date where everything happens like so fast, so quick, and then we're getting close to the closing of market transfers. And this puts a lot of pressure on Carrick, but also on Manchester United as a whole team. Anyways, let's move to now the transfers that are being talked about. This There is a guy, a young guy, only 17. He's called Christian Orozco. Orozco, as in not S, with a Z. Okay, this one last time, last season, Manchester wanted to sign him, but he was still like a teenager. He was only 17. Excuse me, I said he's 17. No, he turned 18. That's why he was able to be signed. All right. Manchester United have agreed to sign the Colombian midfielder from last year, but because he was still a kid, as I just said, the club had to wait until he turned 18 before the move could officially happen. Now that he has reached that age, Christian has traveled to England this past Sunday with United chief South American scout Antonio. This guy is the scout who scouts for Manchester United, and then he's going to complete the next steps of this transfer when he gets to United. According to various sources, the teenager will be assessed by the club when he arrives at Old Trafford, and the current plan is for him to stay at Manchester United next season, train with the club, and get used to life in England instead of going out on loan straight away. Now, it is being said by Manchester United, he's not going to be like part of the senior team. He's going to be, well, he will be training with Manchester. Does that. If, all the clubs, they do that. You bring a kid from the academy, and then they train with the elites or the senior team, but then he goes to play in his age group. Now Manchester United is they're really doing a great job by like keeping him in England, making him get used to the weather, get used to the food, get used to the atmosphere, so that by the time he's now eligible and able to participate in the senior team, they won't have a problem with that. That's like people they go to the bank and put money in the bank for future use. So that's what we're doing. They're banking. This is a huge thing. And then moving on to another signing that has fallen short. This signing, really, I was really excited about it. Well, it's always rumors until confirmed. As they say, a criminal is innocent until proven guilty, even if they have done the crimes. So I was really excited for Elliot Anderson to sign. Okay. But Manchester United have been beaten to Elliot Anderson's signature, and with Ogate set to stay in Manchester, the Reds would now be wise to move on to another midfield target, promptly, because we talked about Mateus Fernandez ever since like the beginning of this show. We are still talking about him. Nothing has changed. Elliot Anderson off the table, off the chart. We have Chouameni, not so sure about his future with United. This only puts so much pressure on us as United supporters, but also as a team, the leadership, the management. All right. And let's get back to a little bit in the World Cup, because this World Cup is really opening eyes for different clubs and boosting players' career and eligibility. And Manchester United fans, they now have they're having a say in Rashford's coming back to United or him leaving. All right. Now they have all thought the same thing during England's game at the World Cup. They're asking themselves, why did Barcelona sign Anthony Gordon over Marcus Rashford? Let me tell you one thing. The numbers are not matching. The math is not mathing. Judging from these two people's performances or previous performances, they do not like align. Marcus is like here and Golden is like here. And now Barcelona decided to choose Golden over Marcus Rashford. But I think the reason why these fans are like now being passionate about it is because of Rashford's career in the World Cup right now, like his performance. Anyways, Gordon started England's first two games of the tournament, but Rashford scored off the bench against Croatia and looked like the player of for like the three Lions needed. They had been missing on him when he came in against Ghana. All right, and now let's get to money. Let's get to value. Let's leave the emotional part aside and let's get back to money. Barcelona paid 70 million to sign Gordon from Newcastle when he could have signed a Rashford when they could have signed Rashford for only 26 million euros. So the difference is like is visible. You are signing an expensive player when you could have signed a least expensive player who is even better at performing. Okay? The decision to sign Gordon over Rashford becomes even more confusing when a closer look uh, at the numbers is taken. Gordon scored 26 goals for Newcastle across the last two seasons, but 11 of those came from the penalty spot, which, let me tell you one thing. I don't care about penalties, set pieces, corner kicks. What I do not care. A goal is a goal. Okay, it goes on your record. A goal is a goal because you're not going to tell me Ronaldo scored 900 or let me say Messi. He scored 900 whatever goals and then but we're not going to count the 300 something goals because they were from a penalty. Do you know how many people miss penalties? Like I could give you a live example hours ago when I was watching Morocco versus Netherlands game. These people like their penalties were flying away, like flying. Okay. So you cannot come here, sit here and tell me you're going to base your reactions on someone scoring penalties and then you say, oh, those are not valid. No. Mm-mm. That's why we don't agree on anything. It's not difficult to do the math. Golden has scored 15 non-penalty goals in 2 years, averaging just over 7 per season. Rashford contributed 14 goals and assisted 14 assists during Barcelona loan spell last term. Okay, the wage demands of both players have been significant factor because the footballing reasons don't really like they don't add up. Gordon added like he earned around 150,000 euros per week. Okay, at Newcastle while Rashford wages have returned to $325,000. I mean euros a week. Okay, Barcelona may not have, they could not been have wanted him in the past. Okay, but United boards are aware they can no longer be taken for for mugs or for granted in the transfer market, and they're insisting that Barcelona cough up the 26 million. All right, still, it wasn't a good decision. It wasn't a good look for Rashford when Barcelona paid a significant higher fee to sign Gordon. Although to Rashford's credit, his performance at the World Cup have flipped a situation and now they're making Barcelona look so silly. I cannot stress this enough. You guys look silly. How can you sign a I don't know how much I'm going to tell you guys this. This makes a player look like he's incompetent. So you do not want to stay with Rashford. You pay 70 thousand million US dollars to sign a player who is going to less perform, and then you leave out. But also there is this comment that I saw, and I really want to touch basis on it. It's the way like Rashford left when he was in United, and sometimes you can be frustrated and leave a cause without you being the problem. But I think Rashford is not as innocent as he looks. Do you know like those kinds of people who don't look as innocent as they are in real life? I feel like when you think about his performance in Barcelona and you think about Robert Lewandowski leaving and you wonder why they didn't want to stay with him, like it's mind blowing. Anyways, as I just said, we are on 20th, I mean 30th of June, and the transfer activities are beginning to accelerate to for some clubs, but to us United, we are it's very quiet. Okay. Although the summer transfer window officially opened earlier in June 30th. Okay. June is often one of the month because now it's one of the busiest days. Player contracts commonly expire, loans officially end, clubs complete deals before the new financial year begins. Manchester United have announced or finalized several transfers around this date over the years. Okay, so we are still in the early hours. I don't know where you're watching from. We are still in the early hours, but I don't know if today is the day we're going to at least hear from Manchester United announcing any players or any signings or any advanced talks. Because we know with signing players, you have to do medical tests, you have to do all these tests. So let's just hope, okay, and pray that today we're going to hear from Manchester United. All right. And before I leave, I want to talk to you guys about Yuan Mata. Okay, this is a former Manchester United midfielder who played for United for a very significant amount of time, and now he is becoming one of the owners of Australian club Melbourne Victory. All right, the club has confirmed that Mata has bought shares in Melbourne, and he will continue playing for now. But once he retires, he will also take on a role behind the scenes to help the club grow. Okay. Mata said he believes Australian football has a bright future. He added that he felt welcomed from the moment he joined the club and wants to help the club succeed for many years, but not just as a player, but as an owner. Okay. Now, for those of you who don't remember, let me jog your memory. Mata joined Manchester United from Chelsea in January of 2014 for a then club record fee around 37.1 million euros. And then he spent 8 years and a half at Old Trafford. He left in June of 2022. That was when COVID was really hitting. Okay. And then when we want to go to his contribution to Manchester United, he scored a number of he made 285 appearances and scored 51 goals and provided 47 assists. As a midfielder, that's not a bad it's not a bad statistic, you know, because he wasn't a striker, if that makes sense. Okay. And then Mata was known for his excellent passing vision, creativity. He was the short guy, the cool guy, you know. He had a very good attitude, and also he helped United win four major trophies, that is FA Cup, EFL Cup, FA Community Shield, and UEFA Europa League. Okay. And one of the most memorable moments was when he scored a brilliant bicycle kick against Liverpool at Anfield in 2015. That was just a year after him signing. All right. Now he's playing, yes, but also he's tapping into the role of being a manager. All right. And that's why we end today's show. And I feel like it gets better every day, like day by day. Me, you guys, I see you, you see me, we connect with each other. Please make it official and subscribe. All right. Subscribe, like, share, and you can leave a comment. I don't want to see you guys get shy in the comments. Comment down and let me know what you think about today's show, and I'll see you in the next one.